Well, hello people. How we doing? It is Monday, May 4th, 2020. So you guys ready to go back to work yet? I can't take much more of this. Hopefully things get back to normal soon. And I hope everybody's healthy and doing well. Um, anyway, here we do a video here today. You know, all this, all this extra time I have on my hands here, excuse me. Um, Figured I'd take a look at doing some YouTube, looking at some videos, and I saw a video on one of my channels that I look at normal yesterday that kind of gave me the inspiration for this video, and that's going to be the video is basically going to be called the 25 radio hits from the 80s. My 25 radio hits from the 80s I like. Now these are songs that I picked at random. I just literally put this list together 5 minutes ago. What I will say for this list, the reason why I decided to do my video and my own twist with this topic is because the video I watched last night that on the channel that I normally look at, it was about 45 minutes long. It was, the guy who normally hosts the channel, and he had one of his buddies on there, and they both did 25 of their songs, and then they did some honorable mentions and stuff like that. They got off to a really good start, and I'm not here to be critical of anybody. As far as favorite songs go, everybody's going to have a different opinion, but they seem to be in that video very, very focused on the early part of the decade. So, not very many songs from the late 80s. The list was kind of not really there too much after about 1985 or 86. Once you got to the mid 80s, it was kind of it, almost like a cutoff, if you will. The host had a couple of ones from after that, but they tend to focus very much on the early 80s. So what I'm going to do is this. My list will cover basically from 1982 to about 1989. Now, one of these songs on here was recorded for an album in 1981. However, it did not chart until 1983. The reason why, you may ask, why do you want to leave 1980 and 81 off? Well, those of you that know rock and pop music know that anytime you get into the start of a new decade, typically your first couple of years are going to be much different than how the rest of that decade pans out. So when you got into the 1980s, yes, there was a little bit of punk and new wave starting. However, you also still had a lot of that, that 70s sound was still kind of hanging around. Disco was still hanging around a little bit, whether some people want to call it post-disco, disco. You still had the horns hanging around, stuff like that. And so literally it was like that was kind of like what 1980 and 81 were in terms of rock and pop music. You still had kind of that older sound, and then 82 was like a pivotal year, and then after that you kind of knew, okay, this is different. We're into this decade now. It's a different sound. A very good comparison would be the 1990s with rock and roll. The hair bands were still around in 1990, because I know, because I was watching MTV every day back then. And then, lo and behold, came that Seattle sound, and then the hair bands were kind of gone. So, anyway, so that's kind of why we're going to focus on 82 through 89. So let's get the list started. Okay, coming in at number 25. This one was from 1986. It's going to be Wildest Dreams by the Moody Blues. Always liked that song. Had a good kind of a sound to it. Just a nice, decent pop song, All right, coming in at number 24. Every Rose Has Its Thorn by Poison. There are some songs on that album that I like a little bit better, but this is like, radio hits, and that song got a ton of airplay in 1988, 89. So, very good song. I own the album, owned many copies of that album over the years. Okay, coming in at number 23 from 1988. Born to Be My Baby from Bon Jovi. That's the track off the New Jersey album. Yeah, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, well, you know, why not something off of Slippery When Wet? Well, decided to go with something off New Jersey because New Jersey had some good radio hits too. And actually, if you listen to New Jersey, I think it's actually a stronger album than Slippery When Wet. So that's why I decided to choose something off of off New Jersey as opposed to Slippery When Wet. Coming in at number 22 from The Police, Synchronicity 2. Always liked that song, and that happens to be, you know, I know I could have went with Every Breath You Take, but, you know, it gets played so much per day, you know, I just wanted to choose something else off that album that I liked, so I went ahead and went with Synchronicity 2. Number 21 from 1989, Cherish by Madonna. I have to give Madonna some props too. She was very popular back then. And that was a very strong album, a Like a Prayer album. All right. Coming in at number 20 from 1988, Straight Up by Paula Abdul. She was very popular back there then too, in the late 80s. And yeah, I own that album too. That's on the Forever Your Girl album, which was also a very good song, by the way. Came down to one or the other. I just kind of went with Straight Up. Okay, coming in at number 19, Hot for Teacher by Van Halen. That just happens to be, it's my favorite song off the 1984 album. Okay, coming in at number 18. It's probably one of the older songs on my list, but Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. All right, coming in at number 17. Yeah, even Bobby Brown made the list. Every Little Step. Came down to that one or the Ghostbusters song. All right, coming in at number 16, Broken Wings from Mr. Mister from 85. All right. Coming in at number 15 from 1989, Dr. Feelgood from Motley Crue. We love that one. Coming in at number 14, this is the oldest song on my list. This is one that was actually recorded for an album in 81, but it didn't chart in the U.S. until 83. And that would be Down Under from from Men at Work. Excuse me. Okay, number 13. Always Something There to Remind Me from Naked Eyes. Good song. All right, number 12. Once Bitten, Twice Shy from Great White, 1989. All right, coming in at number 11. I'm actually going to have a couple songs from this band on my list. With a little help from Michael McDonald on the background vocals. I'll Be Over You from Toto from 86. It's off the Fahrenheit album. Number 10, When I See You Smile from Bad English. Number 9, All I Need Is a Miracle from Mike and the Mechanics. I like Taken In, that's on the same album, but All I Need Is a Miracle is, I think, a more popular song, at least in my household anyway. Both of them were played on the radio. Number 8, Wild Thing from Tone Loc from 1988. Number 7, and this is quintessential mid-80s, Walking on Sunshine from Contrita and the Waves. Number 6, I had to pick something from Tears for Fears. And we went with Sowing the Seeds of Love from 1989. Number 5, no list would be complete without one from Genesis. So I went to the Invisible Touch album from 1986, and I chose Land of Confusion. That album's strong from front to back. It just happened to be that I chose Land of Confusion. Coming in at number 4, from 1983, Foolin' from Def Leppard. Coming in at number 3, from 1987, Paradise City from Guns N' Roses. I think that song needs no explanation. That's going to be on any list. Coming in at number 2, Rosanna from Toto, off the Toto 4 album from 1982. And coming in at number 1, no surprise, no list would be complete without the King of Pop, Michael Jackson, of course, from 1982, Thriller. uh, you know, song was great. The album was great. Toto, actually, some of Toto's musicians actually helped create some of the songs on there. Steve Lukather actually played guitar on "Beat It." He didn't play the guitar solo in the middle of the song. That's actually Eddie Van Halen, but that's actually Steve Lukather from Toto that played that. So some of the Toto guys got involved with that. They got involved with Human Nature, The Girl Is Mine. Yeah, so those guys worked on and helped put that album together too. So anyway, Thriller, just a great song, great album. Lot of talent, helped put that album together. Not just Mike. Mike was an incredible talent, but you had a lot of really good people in the background. And of course, who could forget probably one of the greatest music videos ever, the John Landis directed Thriller video. So anyhow, that's my list, 25 radio hits from the 1980s. I tried to give, most of the decade its props. But again, 80 and 81 kind of kept them off the list because, they tended to have that older kind of a sound. And then you kind of knew after 82 and into 83 that this was something different. So, quite naturally, if I was to do a late 80s list, take this a little further and do like a late 80s specific list, you might find some songs from 1990 or 91 on that list, if I was to do that type of a list. But anyhow, so we're going to call that one a video. If you like videos like this, hit the like and subscribe, and we will see you with more exciting videos here on this wonderful channel. I hope you're all doing well, everybody's healthy, and let's all get back to work soon. All right, take care. Y'all have a good one.